I have a tree in my backyard that is mostly dead. I cut it down and have plans to replace it with a healthier fruit tree of some kind somewhere down the road. I didn't want to just toss the wood from this tree in the recycle bin, so I found someone to take it for firewood, my brother. Since he couldn't take it for a few months, I needed a way to store the lumber to keep it up off the ground so it wouldn't become bug-ridden or rot. And later I needed to be able to disassemble that lumber rack and rebuild it at my brother's house so he could store the lumber there. Stick around and I'll show you how I did this. If this sounds like the kind of video that you would enjoy, please hit the like, subscribe, and click on the alert bell to get notified of new videos being uploaded each week, usually on Wednesday with some others in between as time and projects allow. Before we get to today's project, let's take a moment to talk about workshop safety. Be sure to read, understand, and follow all of the safety rules that come with both your hand and power tools. Knowing how to properly operate your tools and following these safety rules can significantly reduce the risk of damage and/or personal injury. And of course, there are no more important safety rules than to avoid loose clothing, long sleeves, and to wear safety glasses, hearing and respiratory protection as needed. Now let's get to today's project. Hello YouTube, my name is Sammi and welcome back to Sammy's Workshops. Today's video is a two-stage project. First up is a dying tree that needed to be cut down in my backyard to make way for a new fruit-bearing tree somewhere down the road. A chainsaw and about an hour's worth of work takes care of the tree coming down. But I didn't want to just toss it into the recycle bin. Someone could make use of it as firewood. It wasn't really in good enough shape to be used in any kind of construction or furniture building, in my opinion. My brother was happy enough to take the wood, but he wouldn't have a place for it for several months. So I needed a way to store it until then, and then be able to take the storage unit apart and reassemble it at his house later. So I cut the tree sections into 14 to 16 inch long sections, which are standard for most firewood. My brother said he'd split the logs later on as he needed the firewood for use. So next up, a lumber storage rack that can be taken apart. I had made some shorter racks for a friend of mine several years ago and reused the same design here, except for making it taller and using nuts and bolts to assemble it so that I could later take it apart. I don't have a drawn-up plan for this one. However, taking a look at the pictures, I'm sure you can see it's pretty easy to make. Here's a picture with my supply list, 2 inch by 4 inch, 8 foot long pressure treated posts. Pressure treated so they won't rot when they come in contact with the ground or with concrete, depending upon where you put it. All the rest of the lumber is regular construction grade, 2x4s and some 2x6s. And then 1/2 inch by 5 inch long nuts, bolts, and fender washers to spread the force out as you're bolting the wood together so the nuts and the bolts don't just dig right into the wood. 2x6s for that bottom cross rail will support the firewood, spaced 12 inches apart and connected by short lengths of 2x4s, all screwed together with deck screws. You want to make this part first, because then you're going to use it to make the spacing for the 2 sets of leg posts on either end. Space them just about 1/16 of an inch wider than the bottom rail. That way they'll slide together and come apart easily when you want to assemble and disassemble this. In the early ones I'd made for my friend in the past, I just screwed everything together with deck screws. The top pieces of the side posts, there's a bottom stretcher that just secures the 2 pieces. The top piece is 24 inches long. And the reason why I've got that across there is they extend out so that if you're storing this outside and you want to drape a tarp over the wood to keep the rain off of it or the sun off of it, there's enough space inside of it for some airflow so the firewood can dry out properly. The two top rails help support the posts, keep them from spreading apart, and to help contain the wood pile. This rack is just short of 8 feet long and a little over 6 feet tall from the bottom rail up to the top. The bottom rails are about 12 inches off the floor or off the bottom of the post feet. A cord of lumber is approximately 8 feet long and 4 feet tall, single stacked 16-inch long pieces. So this rack ought to hold about a cord and a third. And there you have it, a quick and dirty firewood rack, pressure treated 2x4s, some 2x6s and 2x4s of construction grade lumber, some nuts, bolts, and washers, and a handful of deck screws. And of course with virtually no waste at all. And it's completely portable too. If you have questions on this or any other project I've done, please let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like, subscribe, and click on the alert bell to get notified of new videos being uploaded. I upload new videos each week on Wednesday with a few others in between as time and projects allow. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I have a website as well for some of the patterns I digitize and plans I have to download. I'll also have links to tools and supplies I use, so if you want to get the same items, you know where to find them. I'll put links for all of those in the notes in the comments down below. And of course, till next time, see ya!